My name is Emma Farquharson, and I am a third-year drama and music student at Rhodes. I've been singing in choir since I was in grade 4, but I've always sung since I was a little girl. And one of the choirs that I was in was the KZN Midlands Youth Choir, and they went on a trip to Wales, and they competed in an international Eisteddfod, and they won second place in the world. In terms of the competitions that I have won, I only actually started opera training at Rhodes, because when I was a little girl, I hated opera. My mum would put the CDs on and I would block my ears. I hated it. So it's weird that now all of a sudden I've done a 360 turn and I love opera and I'm training in opera. And then this year I won third place in the National Grahamstown Music Competition. And I put on my first proper solo show as an opera singer on Arts Fest this year. And I got an encore award, which means that they want my show to come back next year and they're going to help me run it. Well, we're very lucky as a department to have Miss Jeanette Lekay. She's my voice coach, and she was previously at UCT. And she really knows her stuff, and she's really pushed vocal students at Rhodes, because previously Rhodes was stronger in the instrumental side of things. Now there's more of a balance. Now Miss Jeanette has brought the vocal side of the department up to a really high standard, and organizations like the Atiakafia are starting to recognize Rhodes as actually a viable place for good singers. The inspiration was from my mum. I was raised on a variety of music. So my mum kind of introduced my sister and I to the classical side of things. But my dad used to put on heavy metal, jazz, blues. We listened to some pop. My dad was a big fan of Avril Lavigne. So I had a very rich mix of music growing up. And I think that it was important actually for me to have that broad musical base before I specialized. Mozart, we sing a lot of Mozart because he knew how to write music for singers, whereas some of the composers of his day, they wrote vocal parts that were actually very, very, very difficult and didn't take the singer into account. Mozart's works are also very good vocal exercises for singers. I've also sung a Spanish folk song called El Paño Moruno. That was part of my Arts Fest program. Miss Jeanette is making sure we have a variety, so I sing Mozart, I sang a Spanish folk song, but we also sing German leaders. So we mix heavy operatic with light classical works, and that's basically how we're being trained. I love how quiet the audience becomes when I sing. People tend to listen to me more when I sing than when I speak. It's just been a thing. I also I don't really get stage fright, and I've always just been a natural performer. So I love being on the stage. I love embodying different characters. I love enjoying myself on stage and letting the audience see that. And usually, in Grahamstown anyway, the audiences in Grahamstown appreciate enjoyment more than they do perfect, flawless technique, which is good for someone who is an opera singer in training and who it's still very new techniques to me. It's difficult to make opera seem contemporary and relevant to youth today, but there has been a rise in interest, and also people, even if people don't watch the shows, they're noticing the posters, because more and more myself and the music department and people who put on their own classical shows are learning how to attract attention visually. thing with opera singers is we have to have a relatively fit body because when you sing opera, you're not just singing from your throat, you're singing from your entire body. So you have to have a very strong lower back. You have to know where your how to engage your body muscles. So it's very strict. On average, I rehearse about 4 times a day, 6 times a week.